Hello my crochet friends. So I thought I'd give you an update on where I am with my husband's cardigan, my Make Me Accountable take 2. When I set that challenge, I literally had a pile of granny squares that I had started to make for a pattern that my husband had chosen from Etsy, and I hate the pattern. It had a couple of errors. I'm not going to tell you what pattern it was or anything, but it was just a me thing, I think. But when I got the pattern, there was a couple of errors, there was a couple of things missed, and I had to message the seller. The seller was wonderful, gave me the information that I needed that was missing, and apparently they've rewritten the pattern. So it's updated on their end. But the pattern is basically granny squares. It's I think they call it a mandala square, and you needed, I think it was 39 squares, something like that, and then you piece it all together. But the squares I am not a fan of. I started doing them, I made quite a lot of them, and I just didn't like them, and I didn't want to continue doing them. So what I decided to do is look around at what else I could possibly do with these granny squares, because the squares are nice enough when they're made, they're just a pain to make. So I think what I'm going to do, in fact what I've started doing, is do a hexi cardigan. So I've used the same colours that I had in the granny squares, and I've made, since that video, I've actually made two the two sleeve bits of the granny square, and I'm now extending them down. I'm not joining them yet. My idea is I'm going to make the two sides of the cardigan, so you've got your sleeves like this and your down bits like this. I'm going to extend it down. The husband wants like a duster length, so floor length cardigan. It doesn't do things by halves. So I'm going to extend all the way down, just doing rows of granny stitch, and then down the back I'm going to do a panel of granny a row of granny stitch, insert a granny square either side, because I think it needs to be quite wide for my husband, he's quite a big fella, and then granny stitch down the middle again, and then he also wants a hood. So the idea is that down the back you're going to have 2 rows of granny squares, and they're going to lead into the hood, so it's like a whole straight line going down the back, and then the front is going to be hexi, and yeah, does that make sense? I'll get the bits and I will show you what I mean. Okay, so the squares that I have are here. I have 18 of them, I've just counted them up. So it's a lovely, it's a nice enough pattern. It's just a ball ache to make. And I like things I can do mindlessly, and I had to really concentrate on these. The pattern never stayed in my head. So each time I made one, I had to look back at the pattern. So what I started doing was doing like the centre and then round one. And then, oh no I didn't, I did the whole of the circle bit, and then I went on to the square bit. But it just didn't stay in my head, and I was constantly checking the pattern. And it just seems to take forever. So the idea for the granny squares is that I picked a palette of colours that were muted, earthy, kind of muted, and then I mixed them all up, so there's going to be a complete hodgepodge. So now what I'm going to have to do is incorporate these colours into the hexi using other yarn, because I'm making quite a bit of a bigger cardigan. So I'm going to have to maybe mix some more of these squares with the yarn that I've been using in the cardigan. But the idea is I've got these squares, all different variants, different colourways, they're going to go down the back of the cardigan, and we're going to join them with granny stitch either side down the back. Does that make sense to people? So imagine you've got 2 halves granny square, and then I'm going to have square, granny stitch, square, and then it's going to be granny stitch either side, and then that is going to go the whole way down the back of his back. So obviously different colours, and then onto the hood. Now I've got 18 of these, so that's 9 high. So let me see, how big are these? Have I got a ruler with me? I don't have a ruler. It's downstairs on my sewing table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're about, using my trusty inch, they're about 8.5 inches tall. So yeah, I'm obviously going to need to make some more, but like I said, I need to make some more anyway, incorporating the yarn that I've had to add for the hexi. I didn't have enough of any of these yarns for the sides to match, and I'm kind of wanting that vibe, so the sides are the same and then the back's hodgepodge, otherwise I think it'll be too much of a random mess. So that's where I'm at. If I remember to come up later, because the hexi is downstairs, I've been working on it whilst I'm watching TV in the evening. If I remember to bring it up later, I will film and show you or insert a picture maybe of the sides so far. So I've been down and got the hexi cardigan sleeve bits like I told you about. So these are what I've done so far. Just so how I can go. So this is one of the arms. As you can see, I'm elongating it down here, and I'm having to introduce new colours so I have enough yarn. So I have 2 of these done. I'll pop on this arm so you can see better. The husband wants it to come down some knuckle length, so probably another 6 inches maybe on that. So the idea is I'm going to have the 2 sides of the hexi, which is dropped on the floor. I've got the 2 sides here already. They're both the same, like this. And then we're going to have 2 of these in the back. I don't know how you can see that, but that's how it's going to go. Do you see my vision? This is my vision. It might look rubbish, but I'm going to give it a go. And like I said, I did say I'd let you know how much I've done, so I've got quite a bit done. I'm keeping them both identical, and like I said, just integrating some new colours, which I'm then going to have to make a few granny squares off, so it draws it all in together. And then the little bits of yarn that I had left over from the squares, they will do a row or 2 on the extension of the cardigan, so it all ties in eventually. But yeah, hope you like it, guys. Like I said, his birthday is 21st September, so I've still got 4 weeks. There's a week left of August and then 3 weeks in September, so I think we might do it, guys. Wish me luck. Remember to leave a comment, check up on me, please do, because I need people to kick me up the butt. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.